A very good evening to you, boys and girls. It's the Thursday night phone low. Phone low? Phone low? Phone low? What do I mean by phone low? Sounds like some sort of, I don't know, some sort of make of something, doesn't it? Welcome to the Thursday night phone, late night phone-in show, boys and girls. Yes, it's Thursday, the 26th of March, 2020. Welcome along to our little show. And what was another beautiful day out there, I must say. I went for my daily one lot of permitted exercise a day. Came out my ass shortly after the show, straight over into the forest, and I'm pleased to say I didn't get lost today. I did not get lost today. I'm very pleased to tell you that, boys and girls, because I got lost yesterday. Ended up walking for 2 hours. My legs were practically hanging off my waist from there. And let's be honest, it's a big waist. And there's big chunky legs to go with it as well, my dears. Not today. Didn't get lost today. I noticed there were a few more people over there this sort of late this morning, early this afternoon. But that was okay. You kind of avoid each other. That's perfectly all right. Quite a lot of a gap as well, to be honest. I'm not good at my worst thing is probably finding my way from A to B. I am just not good at that at all. I'm really useless walking from A to B or driving from A to B. Before Sat Navs, I was terrible. I would get lost everywhere. The worst, there were two really bad times of getting lost. One was when I was a cub leader. This would have been 73, 83, 1984, 83, something like that. And we took the cubs, as in scouts, we took the cubs over to Box Hill. And they dropped us with the van, and I had to get from A to B. And we had the map and the compass. Got lost. And we didn't get back to the van. We were supposed to be back to the van by sort of 8 o'clock. We got to back to the van at about 10:30 at night. It was pitch black. Thank God we found a road. What we did literally was keep walking, and then we found the road, and then kind of guessed which way to go. It's dreadful. Don't ever ask me how to get from A to B. Useless. I mean, thank God for Sat Navs. I mean, I've even got lost with a Sat Nav before. That's true. But I bought a Sat Nav when they first came out. I don't know when they first came out. It was around the year 2000, 2001 maybe. And I bought it to find my way to my sister's house, which actually, when I think about it, isn't too much of a difficult route to do. I mean, she's 140 mile away. Right, but actually it's M3, M25, A1M, and then a double one something, Fletton Parkway or something. I'd know it now. I don't need the sat nav to do it now. I could take you there now, but not in those days. It was terrible. Even with the sat nav, it kept turning me around and back the other way again. One week, I screamed at her down the phone. It was my fault. I was in the wrong. I screamed at her, this is all your fault for moving so far away. I can't find it. I turned around and came home. I got as far as Peterborough. I'm really useless finding my way from A to B. And that first sat nav, it was by a manufacturer called Navman, Navman. That was the first one. And the sat nav cost. Then, they just come out, £700. I kid you not. £700 that sat nav cost me. But you know what? After that one incident where it just kept taking me back, I kind of got... It wasn't a particularly good one. Not like these days. The market leader these days, of course, is TomTom. Fantastic sat-navs. Although you don't need to pay out for one. I don't actually have a paid one. I did buy a TomTom one. I haven't got that anymore. I've got Waze on my mobile phone, and I find that excellent. And if that's not working for some reason, there's Google Maps. You can get a free version of TomTom. I think it doesn't include like speed cameras and that sort of thing. Or speed, it doesn't tell you if you're going too fast or anything like that. You're right if you keep your eye on the road and you don't speed. That's okay. You don't actually have to pay for a sat-nav now. But the first ones, when they came out, they were over £1,000 and they gradually came down. Mine was £700 at the time. And it wasn't easy to update either. You had to plug it into the computer, download something else, move that from there to there. Oh, God. So you don't realise how easy things are now. Especially if you're one of the younger people on here. You know, to have a sat nav in those years gone by, it was difficult to operate the damn thing, let alone anything else. The first sat nav, I thought I'd save a bit of money, and I bought this gadget which you should plug into your laptop, right? And it will work like a sat nav. Well, I couldn't get the thing going, sent it back in the end for a refund. Couldn't get it going. You just plug it in there and put it on the screen. You've got your laptop open next to you on the chair, and obviously you don't look at it. You just listen to the instructions. I couldn't get it to work. Useless. Yes, I'm sure there was nothing wrong with it. It was probably me. Nowadays, you just open an app on your phone and it tells you where to go. Blooming marvellous. Thank God for that. I wouldn't even find my way here, but I didn't get lost over in the forest today, so I'm quite pleased about that. All right, lots of bits and pieces for us to chat about today. I'll ask you, actually, that's given me another one. Have you ever got lost? Have you ever got lost? I'll open the phone lines very quickly this evening, gang. Have you ever got lost? What happened? That's what I want to know. There's your first question for tonight. Have a little think about that while I say hello to people. Good evening to Mandy Davenport. She's up there nice and early. Evening, Mandy. Welcome to our little show, Mandy. Hello to Fran Green, Mick Davenport there, Roy Brownlow, Mick Davenport, Colin Coates, Diane Jebb, Simon Gilman, Rachel's there. Good evening, Rachel. Joey Millen. Hello to Fran Green. Marc Bowles is in the house. Hello, Mark. Gavin Bass. Who else have we got there? Joey Millen. You only need a 1 hour walk, Chris. Well, I know, but I got lost. Got lost. It's just the way it is. Jason Hughes, I think, just texting in there. 1 minute. I always forget to put the number in on here. 1 second. There's the number there. There's the number there. It's got to be Jason, I think, because your name doesn't come up until put the number in. Yeah, Jason Hughes. Good evening, Jason. Welcome, Jason. Heidi is there. Good evening, Heidi. Yeah, popped in. Heidi was doing a little Facebook Live earlier. I think she was doing a trip to the shops as well, weren't you, earlier? I was looking at some of your older videos from earlier on in the day there. You're going down the shops and that. It's always a bit of fun, isn't it? You know, just get your video out and start doing something. Why not? Why not? If you like to, if you're a person who likes to be talking or likes a little bit of spotlight, let's be honest, that's why we do this. We like a bit of the spotlight. You know, don't lie. Then do it yourself. Don't try and take over someone else's channel. Go and do it if you think you can. Anyone can do it. Some people will be good. Some people not so good. You know, it's just how it is. I'm not very good, as you well know. All right. Who else? My poor Grant in hospital with the virus. Oh, 80 years old. Gosh. Oh, I hope she comes through it all right, darling. Incidentally, at 8 o'clock, we'll be doing a round of applause for the NHS, boys and girls. I have a little something prepared for you. Nothing too special. Something for the NHS who are saving lives and putting themselves, of course, at great risk at the moment. So that'll be happening at 8 o'clock, all right? What else have we got here? That's everyone sending Marc's Nan prayers. Yeah, 80 is, that's a decent age, isn't it, 80? That's only just old, I reckon. Hello to George Bond. Just joining us this evening. My cough gets on my nerves. A couple of you kindly have messaged me privately saying, oh, you've had that cough, you know, and I have. I've got this sort of little bit of a cough that I've had for weeks and weeks and weeks now. You must have noticed it. This relieves it. It stops it. So I'm imagining it's something to do with the asthma. That's not, I mean, it's usually I get a bit tight here. There's no tightness here. It's here now. It's here. It's kind of moved a little bit down. But a couple of puffs of that, or one puff of that, usually done properly. Because there's the amount of people I see doing this incorrectly. You've got to do it and then slowly draw it in as you breathe it in. And it's like it releases straight away. I was having it a little bit before we started today. One of those and it's gone. So it can't be anything else. I think it must be something to do with the asthma. Perhaps not doing too well at the moment with that. That being said, you know, to be able to go out for a walk with no problem at all, apart from aching legs when you go too far and get lost. Never mind. Have you ever got lost before? Have you ever got lost before? That is the question. Have you ever got lost before? Evening to Michael Lawrence. Good evening, Mike. There you go. Mark's very upset at the moment. Of course you are, darling. Of course you are. Presumably you can't go to visit her either. Would I be right there? Or can you sort of... I don't know how it works. Can you sort of sit behind a plastic screen or something like that? I don't know. I don't know, Mark. You know, chin up. Chin up. Chin up, my friend. Chin up. Perhaps you can call her. I suppose you can call people who are in hospital on phones. Mind you, sometimes they're too weak to be able to talk to you, aren't they, darling? Rachel, who would pay £700 for Sat Nav? Me. Me, because I can't get from A to B. I think that was the most expensive thing that I bought that year, possibly for 2 or 3 years. £700. It's not 700. They're not £700 then. When they first came out, they were, and they weren't very good. They really weren't that good, but it did manage to get me from A to B there. Let's just just a moment. We're jumping through a little bit there. Oh, that's jumping all over the place. There we are. Mick's had a sore throat, cough, slight temperature earlier, but has come down with a bit of paracetamol. Well, probably you're all right then, Mick. You know, you must be very, very careful going out. Very careful, my love. Lots of people wishing Marc Stan the best wishes there. Thank you. Evening to Michael Heineman. Evening, Michael. Where are we? What about the fines? Fines for what? Fines for what? Hello to Gary Butler. Evening, Gary. Evening. Sean Pye. Good evening, Chris and Michael and Fran and everyone else. Evening, Sean. Pigeon Boy is in the house. Yes, indeed he is. Michael Heineman got lost when I went up to Yarmouth for a holiday. We ended up going out for a few beers and getting lost on the way home to the bed and breakfast we were staying at. Did you really? I'll tell you what, we'll open the phone lines now. Okay, let me just get a second there. And that'll come. Want to know if you've been lost, okay? All right, have you ever been lost? That was what we'll talk about first. Where were you? And what happened? Phone lines are open now. You can use Skype or the phone number 020-8144-3477. Doesn't matter where you were, who you were with, or anything like that. Tell us about it. Where were you lost? When did you get lost? And where were you? What happened? How did you get back? Or was it just luck? Twice I've been seriously lost. That one. And the other time I was in Florida, driving along in Florida. I had no idea really where I was. This is why I won't drive in a foreign country, you see. Let's take a call from Heidi. Hello, Heidi. Good evening, Heidi.
Hello, love. You all right?
Hello, my love. All right, darling? You've been lost before, have you, my love?
Yeah, I've been lost before. You'll never guess where.
Where?
Ministry of Sound.
In a nightclub? Or was you off your head, love?
Yeah.
I knew it.
No. Actually, no, I wasn't. I wasn't off my head.
You weren't?
But you know where the old ministry used to be?
Yes, it was round the back of Belushi's, wasn't it? Or on the other side of the road and round the back.
Yeah, that's right. In the old bus station.
Yeah, I know. Very near Elephant and Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked in, right, and I was walking around all these rooms.
Yes.
And they were massive rooms.
Yes.
I couldn't find my way out again. It took me 2 hours to get out.
Oh, Heidi, how awful! A similar thing.
I know, it's fun.
A similar thing happened to me at. It wasn't Trade. It was FF. You remember FF?
Yes.
FF. That was. I have to tell people. There was a club called Turnmills. It was the first 24-hour alcohol license place, and we used to go to a club. Lots of us went to a club. Heidi used to go.
I'm going to stop you there. It wasn't FF. It was Trade.
No, it was FF. I'm talking about FF. There were several clubs.
No, it wasn't.
There were several clubs there. Heidi, listen to me.
No, darling.
There were several. I'll take you down if you won't listen. There were several clubs at Turnmills. There was FF, there was Melt, there was Warriors, and there was Trade. Right? I got lost one Sunday night. I was at FF. It was on a Sunday night, and I was down there, and I was completely away with the fairies, and then I wanted to get off the dance floor to go to the toilet, and I couldn't find my way off the dance floor. That's how bad I was. That is how bad I was. All I could see, I was looking around. I was so out of it. This is, oh my God, blimey. This is 20, 21, 22. This is 24, 25 years ago. Now, I never forget it. I'm looking around. This dance floor was absolutely packed, right? And as I looked at the people, everyone had like a coloured outline going around their bodies. right? Depending on the colour of the light that was on at the time, with all the flashing lights and that big laser they had there, and all that. Which you'll remember that fantastic laser they had there. And I'm looking at it, and I couldn't get off the dance floor. It took me ages, and I'm kind of just walking in all directions, trying to get to the edge of the dance floor. I was so out of it. So out of it. Best night of my life. 25 years ago, Heidi.
God.
25 years ago that was.
What were you on, girl?
Oh, I don't dare tell you. I don't dare tell you, my dear. It's a long time ago in my youthful foolishness days, which I miss very much, I must say. I do miss that very much.
You must have been tripping.
Never mind.
You must have been.
Never mind.
My God,
Never mind.
that's
That was,
hilarious.
of course, in the days of Lily Lemon. She was DJing at Reflux. And we all used to meet down there. There was Lily Lemon, Ian Thrussell, yes, and there was someone else.
Yeah.
There was someone else in our
Angus.
little group. I can't remember who it was. It was a big lad. Can't remember his name now. And he had a flat in Peckham. Lee. I think his name was Lee. I'm sure his name was Lee.
Big Lee. Yeah.
Big
I
Lee?
know Lee, yeah.
Is he still around? I think we lost him at some point, didn't we? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he
Anyway, there we
died
are.
a few years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, Heidi, thanks for the call. I'm going to just stop you there, darling, because we're just...
No, I know who it was. It was, oh my God.
Heidi, I'm just going to have to stop you there, darling, because we're just getting up to 8 o'clock here, and we must do a little thing this evening for our friends at the NHS. So if you don't mind, darling, I'm just going to stop you there. All right, my darling?
All right, darling.
Thanks for calling in, Heidi. Bye-bye, my love. There we are, the lovely Heidi calling in from London there. It is 8 o'clock, boys and girls, and all across the country, we've been asked to put our hands together for the NHS for 1 minute. Please put your hands together for the NHS. Very, very special NHS. People all over the world are very jealous of what we have here. Wonderful, wonderful people just working so hard to keep us all alive. I am here today because of years of being treated by the NHS. Most of you who are over a certain age are here because of the NHS. You've had some sort of terrible disease, perhaps, possibly an accident, somewhere like that. Where at the NHS, you'd be dead. Thank God we've got them there, and they're just working so hard at the moment. The selflessness of people going in, terrified that they're going to get this bloody thing themselves. You know, absolutely terrified. But they keep going in there. They keep going in there. You know, with disregard for their own safety. Wow, if I could just be like 10% like one of those people, I think I'd be happy. You know, absolutely fantastic. You've got to be a very, very special person to be able to care for people, I believe. I really believe that. All right. Okie doke, let's read some of your messages coming in there. Fran quite rightly said a map is cheaper. I think you're right there, Fran. A map is definitely cheaper, my dear. A map is much, much cheaper. Rachel got lost tonight. She had trouble finding me. I'm always there somewhere, you know that. I think we missed some out at the top there. Just a second. Good evening to... Oh, what's that? Something's been ordered there. Where are we now? I'm losing these blooming messages there. Good evening to Ray Reynolds. Evening, Ray. Welcome to Ray Reynolds. Hello to Amelia Dodd this evening. Let's just do the list of people here tonight. Mandy used to go orienteering as part of our games lessons in school. I loved it on the Mendips. Yeah, I remember we did that at school as well. We did some sort of orienteering thing. Now, where was that? Oh, the Devil's Punch Bowl. Now, is that somewhere in Surrey? I think it's somewhere in Surrey. It was the Devil's Punch Bowl, and our school, I can't remember what year we were in. It was either the 5th or 6th form, and it was like a little holiday, so we went there for a week, and we were all in this dormitory, the whole class. And during the day, one of the things that we did, we would go over this Devil's Punch Bowl with maps and compasses. Once again, I was completely useless at that. And we did other activities. I can't exactly remember what we did now. We got fed and all that. And it was funny, actually, because on this particular trip, the deputy headmaster came with us, Mr. Harrington. And he was known as a very strict man. You wouldn't want to upset Mr. Harrington. He was really strict. You know, you would be punished immediately if you did anything wrong. And he came on this thing and thought, oh no, we've got Harrington. What a different man he was when he was away. He weren't like he was at school at all. He was really friendly and nice. Funny, isn't it, how some people are like that? In different situations. So that was Mr. Harrington. But yes, I did the orienteering as well, Mandy. Did you enjoy doing it? Up on the Mendips. Oh, that must have been beautiful up there. Beautiful. Sean, join the club, Heidi. I got lost in a nightclub at Southend. I wasn't drunk. I couldn't find the front door. That was many, many years ago. Good evening to David in Hemel. Evening to David in Hemel. Let's have a look. The hospital's 3 miles away. Doesn't matter. You should have clapped then. Oh, I mean, it's up to you if you clap or not. If I stand out the door here, there won't be anyone here, I'm afraid, round here. What else have we got here? Lots of outside clapping and fireworks where Mick Davenport is in Bristol. Christ, you need all the emergency services. It all goes on in Bristol, doesn't it? All this news, everything bad that seems to happen in Bristol, doesn't it? I've noticed that. Has anyone else got lost before? You want to tell your story? Let's put the phone lines open again. 0208 144 3477 if you want to call about being lost. We've got some other bits and pieces to talk about today as well. Hello to Mark Jones. We've got people outside the house. I'm outside the front door. Excellent. Mike, big love to the NHS. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication. Sean, I think the NHS staff should get a medal for what they do. They absolutely should. Get some sort of thing after, God willing, touch wood, that we all get through this. There's no guarantee that we will. I honestly don't think there is a guarantee that we will. How many people have to go up there to the next place? But, one of those things. Right, let's take a call then. Here we go. George Bond's calling in. Good evening, George.
Good evening.
Evening, George. Where have you been lost before?
Well, I was just thinking this. I went to a residential in my college.
Yes.
And I asked the teacher, can I go to the toilet? When I walked out, everyone just cleared off.
Right.
So that's how I got lost, because no one told me where they went.
You got lost going to the toilet?
Yeah.
Oh. Where did you go in the end? Did you have to go behind a tree or something like that, George?
No, I did find I was in the toilet. It's just when I walked out, everyone cleared away.
Oh, you went to the toilet, and when you came out again, everyone had gone, and you didn't know where they were?
Yeah.
Oh, poor old George. You'll have to take a map with you next time, I think, really. You'll possibly have to take a map with you next time, or something like that when you go into the toilet. Ever been lost anywhere else?
I've been lost at a shop before.
Yes? Where was that?
Yeah. Morrison's.
Was it a big shop, was it?
Yeah.
How big was it? Was it like a department store or something like that, George?
Western Fayville.
Pardon?
Western Fayville.
What's that, the name of the shop?
Yeah.
Western what?
Western Fayville.
No, I'm not getting that, mate. Western Fable?
Yeah, there's a shop called Western Fable.
Oh, that's what it's called, is it? What is it, a department store or just a clothes shop or a supermarket, something like that?
It's like...
What was
it's
that?
like
I heard a
different
ping,
sort of
dear. What's
shop.
that pinging? I can hear pinging going on now.
Yeah, it's my Facebook.
Was it your face talk? Oh, well, I'm sorry to interrupt your face talk. You carry on with that then.
No, it's fine. It's just...
All right.
You know when some people send you messages and it goes ping?
Yes, I've had to have a little, what I hope is a pleasant work, to be honest, a pleasant message I've sent to various people who constantly send like these cut and paste pictures of stuff and all that, and I know there's just more and more and more of them coming through the system, and I can't keep up with them. So I've sent what I hope is a pleasant message to people requesting that they don't send these things. I do have trouble keeping up with a lot of stuff now. Emails and things like that. You know, sometimes I look and there's another 20 to reply to, which I do try and reply to them all. You know, you've got to keep an eye out for the raffle ticket ones. As you know, if you want a raffle ticket and you can't be with us live, you can always ask one by email. So I try and keep on top of those and what have you. And that's why I always say.
Also, that's enough question I was going to ask you about the ticket.
Yes.
You know, you do a quiz day Tuesday night.
Yes.
Do you still do a raffle ticket on Tuesday night?
We do. Every show there is a raffle ticket, and you can claim your raffle ticket right up to 1 hour before the beginning of the next show. You can either do it live here or by email. You've got to send an email. Don't do it by another method. I may or may not see it by another method. And if we run out of time, then you've missed it. So always do it by email. That's the email address. Take a note of that there. All right?
Okay, I've got your
See,
email.
with the Facebook messages are a particular problem because they just keep coming. And if it's like a raffle, if someone asks for something to do with the show, it drops into a separate folder in the email box. So I know to look there when I'm doing the raffle tickets, and they should all be there. When people start asking by other methods, often I miss them. And then they go, you didn't give me a raffle ticket. Well, how did you ask? I did it this. Well, you know, I haven't seen it. Because you didn't send it on the email. That's why it's just me trying to keep everything in the same place so that I know where to look. And I don't want people to be disappointed, you know, sometimes if they don't see their raffle ticket. So always send in an email. And that's the best way to do that, George. But you must do it fairly quickly because, say, for example, tonight's show started at 10 to 8, yeah? So if you haven't asked for a raffle ticket for this morning's show by 10 to 7, you've missed out because otherwise it gets silly and everything's sort of, you're trying to get on with this and then you're trying to deal with something that happened earlier. Do you know what I mean? And you can't move forward. Always got to keep moving forward and not going backwards all the time. Same with your life. Always move forward, my friend. All right, George? My dad always used to say, always be trying to look at improving yourself. I hope at one point to improve myself. I don't think that will ever happen, but I shall continue to try. Tell me, George, where would you like to be in like, say, should we say, how old are you, George? You about 25, 30?
I'm about 20.
You're 20. Where would you like to be, say, in have you got an ambition? Where would you like to be in, say, 5 years' time, George?
In Skegness.
In Skegness? What, living there or doing something?
Yeah, living there.
Where do you live now, George?
I live in Northampton.
Northampton. Why Skegness?
Because I know you hate this though, but there's a fishing holiday there.
Right.
And we used to go up there.
Okay.
Every August.
Is that fishing in the sea or fishing in a river? Or pond?
In a pond.
There's a pond, is there? Is that part of a holiday resort or something, George?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you a bit of a fisher, are you? You like to do the fishing?
Yes.
What do you catch? Not sticklebacks. I used to catch sticklebacks in a net when I was a little boy.
No, roach, perch, tench, carp.
Right.
Yeah.
And are they fish that you eat? Would you eat those things?
No, we put them back.
You put them back. Are you allowed to take them home and cook them or not?
No.
So the license is that you have to put them back, is it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Is that your only hobby, is it, George?
And I've got archery, as you know.
Archery, yeah. Are you quite good at that? Do you manage to get the target or in the centre, or do you keep missing it?
Get him centre.
I'd miss it. You see, I'd be no good at something like that. I had years ago. I had this air gun thing. You know, you don't put real bullets in it. You put these little metal things in. I mean, you'd still do terrible damage to someone if you fired at people. You mustn't fire those at people. But I had a target thing. I couldn't hit the blooming target. It just kept hitting the fence. Honestly, and it had to have a new fence. I did so much damage. It was awful. Awful. All right, George. Thanks for calling in, George. All right.
Okay.
Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye now. There we are, George calling in from Northampton there, 0208 144 3477, or you can Skype, and if you've got Skype, the Skype is United Kingdom Talk. Mick went outside for a little bit of a clap there. Thank you, Mick. Rachel, that was tearful. Everyone was out on our street shouting and clapping. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Where else are we? Good evening to Lee Toby joining us there. Good evening, Lee. Heidi's just done her bit. She went outside and blew her whistle. Is that the same whistle that you used to have at trade, Heidi? Someone had a whistle at trade as well, didn't they? I remember that. Good evening to Roy Brownlow calling in from Turnmill.
Good evening, Chris.
Roy.
It's your royal call from the Royal.
Evening, young Roy. How are you tonight?
I took the laptop outside at 8 o'clock when you played that NHS thing and put it on the wall so all the neighbours could hear it.
Excellent. Excellent. They do
There's
so much hard work,
don't they? People clapping on my street. Not the ones on the other side, the snobby side. We've got our side, which is okay, nice people, but then we've got the snobby side on the other side, the all bigger houses.
Oh, I can't bear snobs, dear. Can't bear them.
Yeah, they didn't come out. They won't come out, you see, because they're better than us. But, yeah, quite a nice day, Christopher, again.
Have you ever had your life saved by the NHS?
Oh,
or maybe more than once?
Well, I've had a kidney stone, so I had a kidney stone removed. That's probably the worst operation I've ever had, broken leg.
Okay.
I always thought I was having a heart attack, actually, Chris. Frightening. I would cry. All I kept saying was, let me ring my kids, let me say goodbye to my kids.
You had a heart attack?
I thought it was, because when they came out, I'd been in a while, I'd got an irregular pulse or something on my heart, so I said, rush in. So then they took me into this operating theatre, we're going to put a stent in. And then they had a look and said, your heart's perfectly healthy. In fact, it's one of the healthiest hearts we've seen. And I used to have reflux acid in them days, and I think some acid had traumatised my heart.
Ah, yes. That whole acid thing kind of materialises in all sorts of different things. I thought a couple of years ago I had this lump on my throat. And I went into the hospital. They had a camera up the nose to look round. They had a scan thing on there. And they couldn't find anything wrong, except the doctor says, do you suffer from acid reflux? I said, well, sometimes. And he said, I think that's what it is. What happens is it comes up, but not necessarily...
It's your asparagus.
Yes. Not necessarily does it feel the burning. You can get something... many different other things, including what you've just... Obviously, I never knew it would sort of...
Chris, anyone listening, I can tell you I cured my own. This is true. I cured my own acid. For 10 years I was on Lomprazole, which is an acid.
I've heard of that, yes.
Lomprazole just sort of neutralises it a little bit, as does Gaviscon. And then a friend of mine who married a Chinese girl, he said to me, she says, take aloe vera, which takes away the burning, because it does in suntan oil, suntan cream. Ginger honey settles your stomach, and apple cider vinegar. I have the one with honey in it now, but apple cider vinegar with the honey in it. What that does is that actually, although it's an acid, it neutralises stomach acid and it washes it away.
Well.
Chris, no lie. I mean, I can only say for me, I can't vouch for people. I've told 3 people it's worked for them. Even a doctor, my doctor, Dr. Ward, he went on it. Mate, you do it with warm water morning and night, because it comes up at night. That's when it comes up.
Right.
That's the worst time for it. It comes up at night and it flushes it away. And whereas Gaviscon neutralises it, it doesn't take it away.
Did you find what the trigger was for you? Was there a trigger?
Well, not really, no, because it was just all different foods and fizzy pot's one of the bad things. Chocolate's bad for it. There's certain things that will trip it. Stress can cause it.
Sorry, what was that?
A factor in it. But I did that, and I went last year, and I had the camera down my throat, third time, had the camera down my throat.
Yeah.
The consultant called me in a few weeks later and said, the Gaviscon must be working. We've never known this to do this before. I said, what's that? Not Gaviscon, the Lomprazole. She says, it's cured your little ulcer you had in your stomach. There's just a scar there now, and your acid's gone.
Oh.
I said, well, I haven't took Lomprazole for nearly 3 years. You must have done. That's what, didn't it? So I told her what it was. Obviously, they wouldn't accept that. Oh, no, it can't. I said, well, it can't be that, but it is. So
Yeah. Which Gaviscon do you have? I have the Gaviscon Advanced.
I don't have none now. I don't have none now. If I get about, don't get wrong, it's not 100% gone. If I do get about, I've been eating the wrong things.
Yes.
I just go on that for about 3 days. If the burn is really bad, then I have a capful of aloe vera on its own, and within 10 minutes, the burn is gone.
So what is that? Is that like a medicine you'd buy from the chemist?
No, you buy it from Holland and Barrett. Aloe vera is a fruit, isn't it? Is it a fruit or a plant?
Yeah.
Just get you the bottle. Yeah, I've got the bottle out of the fridge. A bottle is about, I go to Holland and Barrett when the sale's on. It's about 9-10 quid, but it'll last you a year.
But it's worth the money.
Holland and Barrett, maximum strength, aloe, which is ALOE, vera, VERA.
Hello.
Supports healthy digestion system, and it's a juice. And I've got the one, actually, this one, it's got cranberry juice in it as well. It's got cranberry flavour.
Well, that's worth knowing that. You see, my trigger is bread and bread products. That being said, sometimes...
What sort of symptom? Is it a burning? Is it an acid?
Yes, it's a burning that comes up. And you feel it come up.
Chris, all you need, drink it. It's not the nicest taste, but it's not, that bad. I mean, the apple cider vinegar is worse than this. If you got a burning, mate, I'm guaranteeing you, just go. It's worth spending your 10 quid. It'll last you a year.
Yeah.
It lasts about 2 years, I think. You just get the capful, which is probably a teaspoonful. You just sat down, and Chris, I guarantee you, within 5-10 minutes, that burning's gone. Because the aloe vera, it's what they put in sun cream. To take away the burning. Your skin and sun cream.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But I try and avoid my trigger. As I say, my trigger seems to be bread and bread products. That being said, if I go without having any and then I have some and then stop again, I can usually get away with that. It's when I have some and then I have some more later and then some more the next day and then it starts big time. I can, if, for example, if I don't have any and I go for an afternoon tea, I don't know if you must have been for an afternoon tea, and it's just cakes and bread and it's all that sort of stuff that sets it off. But for one afternoon, I can get away with that. So what did you say your trigger was? Well, you mentioned several things there, chocolate and...
The problem is, Chris, Dr. Tommy said, once you've had it, your asparagus is like a flap of skin. It's supposed to let things down and nothing back up. When you've had acid, it weakens, so it lets the acid back up.
Right. And
it's supposed to be a one-way passage, but it becomes a two-way passage. I mean, I had a friend who ran a nightclub years ago I used to work for in Norwich at La Valbonne. I just forgot his name. But the guy that owned that, he died of it. He had it really bad. He used to bring acid up.
Oh.
Yeah, he used to actually vomit acid. Malcolm, and he actually, I don't know what he died of, but he died. I know he suffered that.
Well, I do know.
Chris,
I do know if you don't get it under control, you can end up getting cancer from it. Because of that, you keep damaging it, and you can get cancer if you don't get it under control. That's right, isn't it?
I don't. Did you hear what I just said?
No, I was talking. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Right.
I was just changing the subject. I said the fine thing that I mentioned is they're going to fine you now if you go out, the police are.
Oh, no, you're still allowed to go out and do your exercising?
Well, no, they're going to limit that now. They're going to question where you go and how long you've been. It don't make sense to me, Chris, because they're going to fine you £30 to £60, and then it goes up and up and up and up.
Right.
No one's got no money.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that'll work.
Yeah, no one's got the money.
I suppose...
Pay, you haven't got the money. It'd be more sense to me to round you up if they think you out and you shouldn't be out, or you haven't,
and shoot you?
and just bring you home, just bring you back home, or whatever they're going to do.
Just
Look what they do in India. They beat them with sticks. What did you just say, Chris? I missed that.
Just shoot them. Just shoot them.
Yeah. Well, why not? You could perhaps get your little pellet gun out.
My little fairy gun.
What's the other guy's name? With bow and arrow.
I'm sure you can still go out and exercise. That's what he said early on, isn't it? He said you can go out and do your exercising.
You can go out and exercise, but people, Chris, I'm not being funny, Chris. I think everyone round here has bought a dog. I've never seen so many people with dogs in all the time I've lived around here.
Oh, isn't that funny?
I went to walk across the field, so I thought I'm going to go out on my own across where I live is called the A's, and there's all these fields.
Yeah.
It was a prisoner walk years ago. It's a conference centre now. Chris, I turned around and came home. I looked in this field. I saw 20 people in this field. I normally see no one.
No, I would turn around. I would turn around.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation. I wanted to go. Oh, honestly, the chemist, right? So I went twice the other day to try and go to the chemist. Got there the first time. There's a sign on the door, closed 12 to 2 because we're so busy and we have to restock. Fair comment. So they now closed between 12 and 2. Come back at 2. Only 3 people are allowed in the shop at any one time. Okay, so I came back.
3?
I came back.
1 here.
Hang on a minute. I came back, done my dinner, walked back over to about 2:30. There were 10 people waiting outside in a line, and other people milling about. I turned around, come back home, and I rang them up, and I asked them to deliver it, which they said, yeah, no problem, but I can't get it on till Friday. Fine, no problem at all. What time? Can't give her a time. No problem, I'll be in. Friday. Guess what happened today when I was out? They tried to deliver it. Well, it ain't Friday, is it? You know.
Yeah, but Chris, I know normally these are fields. I don't normally see. I'm looking for. I hate seeing anybody when I'm out walking anyway. I like to be on my own.
Yes, me too.
But I don't normally see anyone down there. And so later, I went. We kept a distance from my next door neighbour. We sort of kept apart, and we went up the local park. Again, about 30 people on there. Normally, you see no one.
Perhaps if you went. I mean, what time do you get up in the morning? Are you up early or?
Oh no, because I'm before 10 o'clock. I'm not awake.
You're a late person. What about if you went sort of twilight? Would it be quiet?
Well, but you don't want to be walking. I'm always a bit cautious. If I go walking down the park in sort of now or later, and you see a woman coming the other way, you feel uncomfortable, don't you?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. I feel uncomfortable because I think she's going to be uncomfortable. Are you the same?
Yeah. And you think, oh God, what's she going to say? You know, she's going to feel, she's going to be frightened, this, that, other. And you know, if you've got a dog and she's got a dog, and the dog goes running up, I don't like it because I think, I don't feel safe for her, although I am safe for her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very good of you. Very good of you.
That's why I don't go. I mean, I will take the dog. What time is it now?
Yeah.
I will take the dog about 9:30, but I will go down the estate where there's a grass at the side of the house. That's another thing. No one's picking their dog poo up. They're picking it up, putting it in bags, and chucking the bags on the floor.
That's just ridiculous. I mean,
Chris,
you're actually.
I kid you not, Chris. There's what used to be the old railway line down where I live. It's like a track and it goes up to a bridge. There's someone going down there. There must be 40 little blue bags of dog poo.
That's right. You're actually better off not to use the bags and to just leave it there rather than.
Chris, I
don't understand the sense of that. Why do they do that?
Chris, if I'm on a street and there's no dog bin, because there isn't that many, they are lacking. I put it down, I leave the bag open and I put it down the grate. So when it rains, it will biodegradable. The bag will wash away and the poo will wash away.
That's fair comment. Fair comment. But they do it in the bags, right? I've seen this as well, even over the forest. It's actually not too bad over the forest. When I first started going over there 25 years ago, you never saw any rubbish whatsoever. Now you see the odd can, the odd crisp packet, not very often, but it's definitely slightly not as good as it used to be. But it's the bags. Now, this gets me as well. Why do they pick up the poo in the bag and then, right, and you will have seen this, they hang it on a tree?
Well, they chuck it in the tree and it hangs, yeah.
I'm sure some of them just hang it up there on a branch.
Across from where I live, the estate across there's a bit of grass as you first go into that little bit of it's nice estate. And there's someone there who every day chucks 2 or 3 bags on that grass. And there's a dog bin probably 5 minutes away.
Yeah. Do you think it's the same people do it all the time?
I don't know who it is, but I pick them all. In fact, tomorrow, Chris, I'm quite a good person like that. Tomorrow, I've made up my mind. I'm going to take a black bin liner and pick about them 40 bags up that's on that path and put them in the bin, film it, put it on YouTube and say, these are yours. I'll show you which bin I'm putting them in. You can come and collect them.
Yeah, yeah. I do go around my house as well picking up rubbish. I've got one of those. I've actually got, those litter picker things. I got one off Amazon for £10 some years ago. Yeah. Don't have to touch the dirty little things now.
No. I'm a good neighbour, Chris. I'm quite a good neighbour. Today I've cleared the dandelions. I've got a bit, from past it. I've cleaned the dandelions off mine. I've done the girl next door, single woman next door. I've done the old lady next to her. Then the other side, I've done the widow next door, the widow next door to her, and the guy next door to him. I've cleared dandelions off the front of everybody's walls and weeds.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm quite a good neighbour as well.
Wait till we get the bill, but...
Good to be good neighbours. It's good to have good neighbours. If you've got good neighbours, you're very lucky. I cannot imagine what it's like to be underneath someone who's noisy.
Oh, I couldn't live it.
My nan had it. My nan had that. She used to get the broomstick and bang it on the ceiling. There was all these dents in her ceiling.
Yeah, one time when I lived with my mum and dad, when I was working away at Holiday Hampton, coming back, we lived next village down, and we lived. Well, although we lived in a flat above, fair enough, Chris, I was in my 20s and then maybe I had a beautiful life. This old lady next on below, if you pass wind, she banged on the roof. She was always banging on the roof.
You did that loudly, did you?
Yeah. Put my bum to the floorboard so it vibrated.
Oh, don't! Great nephew Harry did that to me earlier. I was having a FaceTime with my nephew Gary, who's I think he's still on here at the moment. Great nephew Harry. I said, "All right, Harry," and he turned around. He's 6 years old. Turned around, put his bum against the phone, and farted. Dirty little git. Mind you, it is me that taught them to do that.
I better let you go. I don't want everyone to think, this is the Roy and Chris show.
Thanks for calling in, Roy. You have a good night.
Take care of yourself, mate. Stay safe.
Cheerio. Great call. Thank you, Roy. Roy Brownlow calling in from Derby. Always a great call from Roy Brownlow. Always a great call from Roy there. 0208 144 3477 if you want to call in this evening, boys and girls. Let's have a look. Fran went outside and clapped earlier. Excellent. Mick drank a litre bottle of Southern Comfort and ended up over several gardens. I woke up with a little Chinese man standing over me smiling. God knows what he must have done to you then, Mick. Do you remember it? Perhaps it's best that you don't, my love. 0208 144 3477. Let's have a look there. Hello to Christina. Let's jumped forward there. Christina Hunt, I think I just saw, just popped in there. There's a call coming in from Mark Jones. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Chris.
Hello to Mark. You're right, darling. How are you today, sir?
I'm very busy, dear.
Very busy? Why is that,
I'll have 5-10 minutes and have a little chat with you.
Yes.
Because there's a couple of things I want to talk about with you.
Yes.
Because you might be able to help me. So earlier, I picked up the phone.
Sorry, is this technical support? Because I have to start the clock going for that, and it's like £1.50 a minute.
Oh, that's very cheap, dear. Very cheap.
I'm a very cheap person.
I heard.
Pardon?
Anyway.
How rude. Carry on, dear.
Anyway, so I picked up the phone. I said, "Hello, Lifeway's Mark speaking. How may I help you today?" And she said it wasn't very professional.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, I think she was a bit of a moo cow.
Oh, is that all you said? Hello, my name's Mark. How can I help you?
Yeah, apparently I sounded very monotone.
Perhaps you just didn't sound helpful. I mean, it's how you said it. Could you just do it for us now, and we'll kind of work out? I'll try and tell you what you're doing wrong. Go.
Okay, so I went, "Hello, Mark speaking. Lifeways."
Sorry, Mark speaking. What?
Like the company I work for is called Lifeways.
Lifeways.
Yes.
Try it again.
Or it might have been a little bit more like this. "Hello, Mark speaking. Lifeways."
Yes, I hear the problem straight away. Not being enthusiastic.
Well, I can go like this then. Let me try this one then.
Yes, but you probably...
"Hello, Mark speaking. Lifeways."
Well, that would be better, but what you did before, I recognise the problem straight away, not being enthusiastic enough. Now, I could point you, and you've seen the live karaoke streams, okay?
Yes,
when people come up and they look... No names will be mentioned by me on this channel. Some of you that watch the karaoke are welcome to mention names. I will not be mentioning any names of people on this channel of boring karaoke singers. People who come up and sing and they literally just sing and look absolutely bored to tears, and you wonder why they come out. If you don't mind me saying so, Mark, I would not normally offer this advice, but as you asked, that's what was wrong. You didn't sound enthusiastic enough. Can I do it for you? Can I do it for you?
Go on, then, you have it, John.
Good morning, Mark speaking. Lifeways, how can I help you? There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but I could see it was her ringing.
No, not the point, dear. Not the point. What if I was to ring you?
I'm trying to save lives here, dear, and I have to keep calling back to the office to answer the phone
You know,
for her to tell me I'm doing a good job.
Well, I'm sorry, dear. If you had a voice like that, I wouldn't want to ring you again.
Well, I hope next time I'm going to answer, I'm going to go, what?
Pardon?
That's how I'm going to answer when she next rings.
You must try and sound a bit more enthusiastic on the phone. Honestly, dear. God, I mean, you
It's
sound
great.
practically dead, to be honest.
Do you know when it was because I've been working like 800 hours a week.
Not the point, dear. Not the point. It's a little bit like going into a
People are calling
pub.
in sick.
It's a little bit like going into a pub. If I ran a pub and I've no interest whatsoever in running a pub, believe me, if I ran a pub and I noticed a barman, looking at someone, serving a drink, oh my God, I think an insect has flied in here. I'm sure I just saw an insect flying. Oh, I know why. The window's open. Just a minute. I must close the window, dear. I'm sure I saw an insect flying here then. Oh my God. Now, where is it? That is the question. That'll be attracted to the light. Or there's something up there. Just a minute. Let's just. Where's that now? It's camera 4. I think there's an insect up there. I'm going to have to get that insect. Can you hang on a minute?
I've got plenty of time, don't you
don't
worry.
mind changing. I'm going to have to get something to get that insect. Perhaps a towel.
While you're doing that, I want to talk about something else anyway.
No, carry on and talk then, dear. Carry on.
So Slimming World, dear, is not going very well. Because now there's no weigh-ins, and I'm out working a lot. I'm just eating rubbish.
You're not doing... Oh, the insect has disappeared. Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's okay then.
Got it. Oh, I've just damaged my microphone. Just a minute. My guest microphone has just fallen off now. Oh, no. I got it. I think that was it. That seemed a small insect. I'm surprised I even noticed. Oh, no, it's there again. It's okay. It's flying around the lights. See, the trouble is, with the new lights, I've got like curly... They're like curly fluorescent round thing. I don't know if you... Can you see one or not? No, I don't think
I'm on the phone, so I can't see it anyway.
No, you won't be able to see. Can you see? No, you can't see one. But they're like these curly fluorescent things. And the trouble with those is they don't heat up. You know when we had the old light bulbs, they would attract insects and wasps. And often you see this wasp and it'd be flying around. And then it would spot the light and it would go towards it, land on it and be frazzled. Well, it doesn't happen with the new lights. They just sit on there and make a nest. It's awful, dear. Awful. Watch out for low-flying insects if you've got fluorescent lights. You can't kill them. They don't die. They set up home in a light bulb. It's outrageous. Carry on, dear.
You'll have to get one of them little machines that goes when it gets them.
Oh, yeah, the blue things. You know, those blue light things. They're quite good. Or you can get those execution bats. Have you seen those?
Oh, you've got one of them, haven't you?
Execution bats. Yeah, you get them from the pound shop, I think. Somewhere like the pound shop. I have got one of those off Amazon. I think I paid like £8 for mine. I'm sure you can pick them up really cheap. Execution bats. And they've got a battery in them. And you push this little button and a red light comes. Now, take this advice, Mark. At that point, do not touch it. When that red light has come on, do not touch the execution bat. You would be surprised the jolt of electricity you can get from a 1.5 volt battery or whatever it is in there. It's an offer. Oh, dear me. On the other hand, Mark, I'm going to give you this little bit of advice here. Get yourself one of those, right? And the next time you answer the phone like that, just give yourself, as you pick the phone up, give yourself a little jolt, perhaps on the bum, with your execution bat. It might make you sound a bit more friendly on the other end of the phone. Thank you very much.
Oh, I might be asking people to ring up.
Execution
So, yeah,
bats. Very good. Very good indeed.
So going back to the Slimming World thing,
Yes.
this something might interest you. So obviously, because they shut the doors, they're now doing virtual Slimming World classes for £2.50.
They're doing what?
Virtual Slimming World classes.
Virtual Slimming World classes?
Yes, so there's an app called Zoom. Other conference apps are available, of course. So
Right.
then you do that, you send the £2.50 to your consultant, and then you're all in like on this app together, and they do that image therapy.
Oh, what's the point of that? You might as well just go and buy a pair of
£2.50.
scales and a recipe book and do it yourself.
But you see, some people like myself, Chris, need this because I'm just helping myself to anything out of the fridge at the moment.
Oh, well, let me just have a little look at your photograph at the moment. Is there a new photograph of you up there at all somewhere?
Well, the new
Let's have a
profile
look.
pictures, Neil.
Marc Jones. So you're doing the Slimming World and you say you're not doing too well at the moment. Oh, yes, I see what you mean, dear. Yes. I see what you mean. Well, get back on it as soon as you can, my love.
Well, I'm going to join this virtual Slimming World.
Virtual
to see if
Slimming
that
World.
helps.
Is that so? What's a virtual Slimming World? Is that like where you just imagine yourself at losing weight and then that's how it works, or what is it? What is it?
Well, no, so you're weighing yourself on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So then the virtual hour class is on the Monday. So you weigh yourself before, then you send it them, and then they put it in. Just give me. I've got to go, dear. Someone's at the door.
Oh, what a shame. I was enjoying that conversation. Have a good night, Mark.
I'll call you back. Don't worry.
Cheerio
Bye.
now. Bye now. There is our Marc Jones calling in there. Anyone else? 0208 144 3477. I quite like the idea of that. Virtual, you're losing weight at Slimming World, where you don't actually have to lose the weight. You just imagine that you've lost it, and then you succeeded. How fabulous is that? I like that. I like that very much. I'm going to scroll right down to the bottom of the messages because you can't possibly keep up there now. Hello to Shania Steele. Good evening, Shania. You joined us late tonight. Mandy says a cattle prod would work on seagulls. Is someone have a problem with seagulls? Let's go up there. It's difficult to pick up again, actually, from there. I can't really pick up from that because I don't know, because you're chatting to each other, which is fine. You know, that's what it's there for. Christina Hunt, there she is, Christina Hunt. Hello to Stephen Petty. Good evening, Stephen. Welcome to the show. 020 8144 3477 if you want to call in. Heidi says, I've seen people hang those little bags on the tree branches. Why do they do that? They pick up their dog mess and then put it in the bag, and then if it's bad enough them chucking it on the floor, I don't understand why they do it. If you're going to do that, you might as well not bother picking it up in the first place. In fact, I think you're better off to leave it, although you're probably not allowed to, I would imagine, by law. I don't know the law about that. But if you just leave it, a bit of rain, and it's washed away. In a bag, it doesn't even get washed away. What a stupid... People are really stupid, aren't they? People are so thick, it's unbelievable. There was a bloke... on Facebook earlier. I know some of you saw my post earlier. And this bloke, right, is convinced that we are becoming a police state. The fact that the police are now able to break up groups of people. And he doesn't like that. You know, I don't think it's occurred to him for one moment that the police are trying to save people's lives. No, it's because he'd be one of those people, I'll do what I want when I want. He'd be one of those sort of people. So, of course, he now hates the police. I mean, what a complete and utter idiot. I'm getting fed up with these people on Facebook posting their ridiculous, hard left-wing stuff. In fact, to the point where I just don't bother anymore. I just unfriend them. I don't comment usually. In fact, I didn't even comment on his. I just saw the post and I thought, you blooming idiot. And I thought, no, unfriend. I'm really sick of stupidity on there. And lots of you commented on that. Loads and loads of comments. Liam, Sarah. I've always been giving people credit for being good and intelligent and moral. These days I feel like I'm the idiot for believing that. So many fools out there. There absolutely is. Mark Cording, stupid idiots. Timmy Thomas had so many arguments on Facebook. I will just not tolerate ignorance. I mean, they're just so stupid, these people. absolutely stupid people. You know, and it's not the only sort of subject there, the comments that people put on the Facebook. And Facebook is supposed to be social media. Let me tell you, it's anything but social on there. Twitter's even worse. Twitter's even worse. That is anything but social. People shouting and screaming at each other all the time. Dreadful. Just close the door and come away from it all. That's what I say. What else have we got here? Some of you mentioning karaoke people here. I'm not going to read them out. Let's have a look. David, put your radio voice on when you speak to them, Mark. Yeah, he's got a radio voice, hasn't he? 0208 144 3477. If you want to call in tonight, boys and girls. Let's have a look. Insects just casually chilling on the lights. That's exactly what they do, Mike. They're not even paying me rent. You know, they're not even paying me rent. Oh, that's another subject as well, rent. Oh, rent. Well, I've got I'm a landlord as well, and I've got this insurance on properties. If people don't pay the rent, guess what? There's a clause. Oh, yes, there's a clause. Pandemic's not included. So we've just got to keep our fingers crossed that people keep paying the rent. Otherwise, I need to pay the mortgages as well, you see. Chris, get a decent electric bat from... I've got one that takes down the seagulls. Oh, excellent. Because I had a seagull land on my nephew's wife's shoulder once. That was at Whitby. Oh, shouldn't laugh. She'll hit me next time she sees me. Oh, no physical contact. We were all sitting under this bandstand having chips, and there was these great big fat seagulls everywhere, landing all over the place. She said, we're casually ignoring these seagulls. This thing has landed on her shoulder. She went mad. If only I had the camera standing by there. She was absolutely terrified. Poor old girl. Poor young girl, my love. Poor young girl. Roy says my block list on Facebook gets bigger and bigger. I mean, there really are stupid people out there. Absolutely. Let's have a look around. I'm going to have a quick look down there now and see if I can see any more stupid... I probably won't find one now. There's a lot of drag queens at the moment on online doing their stuff because, of course, drag queens, they get good money for their shows, right? But years ago, they were better off than they are now. They used to work every night. A lot of drag queens used to work every night. Not so much now. Pubs have closed down left, right and centre. So that large wage that they now get, which can be anything, sort of starting at around 250 quid for a show, which sounds a lot. But if you have only got one booking a week, do you see what I mean? See what I mean? They used to work. There used to be very good money being a drag queen. 200 quid, I don't know, 7 nights a week. That's a decent wage, isn't it? And it was that years ago. It was that near. Now it tends to be 250, 300 quid once a week. Maybe twice if you're lucky. You know? So on one hand, you think, oh, that's a lot of money to pay out. And on the other hand, you think, well, they're only working once or twice a week now. So that's the thing. So a lot of them are doing shows at the moment on the Facebook there, and they have their PayPal thing up there, and you can donate. I don't know how much money they're making on that. You may have noticed actually on my YouTube thing today, I've put my PayPal thing up there because people have been asking, why don't you put your PayPal thing on? Well, I think it's a bit cheeky putting it up there. And they said, no, just put it up there. Doesn't mean you have to start asking for money, which I've never done. And I will never do. I won't sit here saying, oh, send cash now. I've seen some people doing that. Honestly, awful. Awful. The only time you usually send me cash is if you want to do a tip or you want to buy one of their many things. You know, I haven't got them over there, the hats or something like that. That's the only time. I would not sit here ever and say, please send cash. I'm not poor. I'm not a poor person, you know. But it's there if you want to do little tips now and again. I know some people now and again, couple of quid there, and it's much appreciated. All right. Michael says, I was called an idiot today for having a pin in the other day when I said about the lockdown. It got pretty toxic because of this guy getting personal. They do. They get very personal about it all. Tony, the problem with stupid people is that you can't reason with them. No, you can't. You can't reason with them. They go on and on. They are right, and that's it. You know. And I think we all know who they used to vote for in the general elections. Not that we want to get political, but you know what I mean. Phone number. Oh, you want the phone number back there. Thank you, Rachel. 0208 144 3477 is the number. Good evening to Rowan Riley. Evening, Rowan. Evening, Rowan. Excuse me. Kelly is a millionaire. Not at the moment. She won't have anything coming in. She must be in pieces at the moment. She travels halfway across the country to get 15 quid out of someone. Honestly. Mandy, what a good idea. Send Mandy round to get the rent out of them. Good idea, Mandy. Send Mandy round to get the rent out of them. You must remember, on the subject of landlords and that sort of thing, most of us have just got one or two little places. When my mother and father died, I put all my half of the money anyway into properties, and I've sold one of them years ago because the lease came down. But I've still got all the other ones, and the value is not in the rent coming in. The value is not in the rent coming in. It's certainly not at first. Often you're paying out more than what's coming in, but it turns around. You see. It's a long-term thing. A lot of people think they come into a little bit of money. Perhaps they lost someone dear to them, like I lost my mother and father. You know, far rather have my mother and father than a couple of properties. Do you know what I mean? But nevertheless, they've gone. And they think they're going to get into it and then next year be filthy, stinking rich. No, dear. No. That doesn't work like that. You'll be okay. You won't be filthy, stinking rich unless you're very clever and you keep buying more and more things. You keep putting the money back in. But I think at that point, you've got to be quite young to be doing that. You know, if in the unfortunate time, and there's probably one or two of you, you lost your parents early on in your life and maybe they left you a bit of money, perhaps when you were a teenager in your 20s, if you had your head screwed on and you didn't go up and weigh it all up against the wall, you may have done this. And then by the time you're 40, you would have kept putting the money back in. Whenever you made a profit, put the money back in, buy more, put the money back in. And then you can end up with 20, 30, 40, 50 properties. Some people have got hundreds of properties. And then, but I don't have anything like that. But I should be okay. I should be okay. Not filthy, stinking rich, just okay. Better off than some people, you know? So I'm not poor. But I do have the mortgages to pay. And if rent doesn't come in, it could be difficult. I could survive with some of them not paying. Not all of them. But all of them, no, that would be difficult. Then the savings would come down. There's not a massive amount of savings in the bank. So that's how it works. Let's have a Mark Bowles. You can't educate pork. No, I mean they're just thick as anything. Some people, absolutely thick. But we will send Mandy round to collect rents this month. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Sending Mandy round. We could put it as part of the show. Perhaps we could do it live evictions. Can't pay, we'll take it away with Mandy Davenport. Mandy will go around there. She'll knock on the door. As soon as the door comes open, the foot will be in there, won't it, Mandy? I bet she's got special boots for that. Have you got special boots, Mandy? Put the foot in the door to stop it slamming back as well. Mick Davenport, my ex, made sure I was left with nothing. Oh, Mick, yeah, but at least you're away from her. I know what you mean. No, I don't want to go down that road. No. Good. Right, I've got a couple of stories here. So, what else have we got to call in for you? I did have a whole list of things to call in for today, but we haven't really got down the list at all, to be honest, because we've kind of gone off on a tangent and people ringing in about other stuff, which is fine, you know, which is fine. It's interesting when you get calls coming in. I like interesting calls, not boring ones. Roy Brownlow does very good phone calls, I must say. Probably one of the best people that ever calls in, Roy Brownlow. Ray Reynolds, we haven't heard from Ray for some time now. He doesn't call in, but his phone calls are very informative as well. You know, really interesting. Rachel says we're not rich, but we are lucky to have no mortgage. There you go. Rachel, that's not too bad of a situation, is it, Rachel? I have a mortgage on my own house, actually, because I borrowed some money on this to buy something else. And as it turns out, that has increased in value. You make the money when you sell the place, you see? That's when you make the money, but then you do get a capital gains tax, which I think is it 24%, something like that. So if you sold your house for, I think it's 24% capital gains tax. What's the capital gains tax? Let's have a look. How much is capital gains tax? Let's have a look. Because it changed recently, didn't it? get capital gains tax. How much is capital gains tax? Oh, it's 18%. Oh, it's 18%. Is that all it is now? All that's come down, unless you're an additional rate taxpayer, which I'm not. I'm not a higher rate taxpayer. I know you find that difficult to believe, but I'm not. I'm not a higher rate taxpayer. 18%. Okay, so if I was to sell a house for £100, you know, I would pay £18 of that tax. Well, that's not too bad, to be honest, is it? Let's be honest about it. That's not bad at all. You have other charges as well, like solicitors' fees and all this, that, and the other. But, you know, you just accept that. You understand that. So that's where you make the money, when you start selling the places. You've got to hold on to it. I've had mine now 20 years. 20 years. 19 years. 19 years I've had most of mine. David said my squat is mortgage free. Yeah, David lives in... I imagine you, David, to be living in one of those communes, you know, with lots of scruffy people who never shower and cook over an open fire in the garden, you know, because you're too tight to pay for the gas. Start chopping down trees and things like that. Is that what you do? You start chopping down trees and things like that and putting little lighters underneath it, and you're all running around, and then you want to go for a poo and you just go and dig a hole somewhere or do it in someone's back garden. I would just imagine that's how your life is. Am I wrong? You know, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't mind being corrected now and again. Mandy likes to give out a little bit of correction now and again, doesn't Mandy? She does like a bit of correction, my love. Sean's got two places, my house and my mum's. I bought my mum's house to save her paying rent, which is which in my opinion is just a waste of time. What, paying rent? Yeah, I agree. But the trouble is, and you know, people are sometimes their own worst enemies. They sit there moaning and moaning and moaning that they've got nothing, and we'll go to the pub tonight, you know, and buy loads of drink. Well, you made your choice. You made your choice. You decided, you know, for many, many years to go down the pub and spend your money. To go and spend the money on £100 a month Sky subscription so you can watch all your sports channels. That was your decision. I decided to keep saving my money till I had to deposit for a house. Most people have got the choice. I think most people have got the choice when they're in jobs and that to start saving. You know, and the younger you save, the easier it will be. I remember going out for a walk with my younger nephew. I think he was 9. I think he was 9 years old at the time. And when I used to go up and visit them, which became very regular after it wasn't that regular. I used to go up there Christmas and Easter, I think, or just a couple of times a year. But Christmas, I remember one Christmas night. I think it was a Christmas night. Or I remember it was Jimmy, and I had this green biker's leather. It's not a real biker's leather. It just looked like one, you know. It didn't have the pads or anything. This green leather jacket on, and he was on his bike. He was on his little bike, and I think he was 9 years old. And we were walking along, and he was cycling as well. And it was pitch black, because I used to go walking at night. Because I was always I was a DJ at the time, you know, clubs and all that. So I used to get to bed 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That was a normal time for me to go to bed. So when I went up to my sisters, well, of course, they all go to bed at 9 at night. Do you think I could go to bed at 9 and sleep? No, absolutely no chance whatsoever. No chance. So I used to go out walking, and I'd walk for an hour and a half, and then sometimes little Jimmy, as he was in then, he would like to come out for a walk with me, and I think he was about 9, 10, 11 years old. I remember him walking, and I was explaining the stars, and he got into the subject of houses for some reason. I said, start saving your money now. And I was trying to convince him to start putting a little bit of money away to save up for a house. Of course, now he's 22, and I suppose he wishes he has done, but he didn't. So, but you know, it's just that's nothing unnormal about that, is there? Let's be honest. He spends a lot of his money on football. He's a massive football fan, and that's his choice. So he spends his money on him very early on. I started saving for a house. I think I was 21, 22, something like that. As soon as I got divorced, actually, as soon as I got divorced, I started saving for a house. I didn't do it before that because I knew they might come and say, well, you know, we want half of that. So I didn't do it before. I waited until we were divorced and all that, and then I started saving my money. And that's how I did it. As I say, not rich, comfortable. Very big difference between being rich and comfortable. You know, I can't just go out and buy a car. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know what it's like to be like that, to actually be able to go out and buy anything you want. I can go on Amazon and buy certain things. I could probably buy, I don't know, a telly. I could probably buy a telly if I want. Not every week. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted a new telly, I could probably go on there and, I think I'll buy that telly. I could do that. Yeah, I couldn't do it every week or every month. You know, other people would have to save for a long time to do that. So I consider myself incredibly lucky. Incredibly lucky. Michael says, now you're talking. I love that show anyway. Can't pay well, take it away. Used to really get into that one. Yeah, I like the old bloke, Paul Bowhill. I think he's great. I think he's very, very fair. Very fair. And you know, I do not believe when they come knocking on that door, they open the door. Well, we haven't had the letter. Let me tell you, by the time those people come to your door, the bailiffs, by the time they get to your door, that is the end of the line. They've tried the telephone, they've tried several letters, they've tried all sorts of ways of contacting them, and you've ignored them. When they come to the door and says, this is the first we've heard about it, no, it's not. No, it's not. I don't believe a word of it. Don't believe a word of it. Adam, I'm very worried about my rental property as I rely on the rent to pay my bills. I had to invest £10,000 into doing the property up when I inherited it. Well, you'll have to cross that bridge when you come to it, really, Adam. I can't advise you on that, really. You probably, as I suggested to you, took out the guarantee about the non-payment of rent, but a lot of the insurance paid, look at the small print, pandemics are not included, so you need to check your insurance on that. All right, Adam, check your insurance on that one. Yep, Mandy's definitely got the steel toe cap boots. I knew she would have those. She'd probably use those to give Mick, her husband, a kicking or two. And let's be honest, he probably deserves it, Bandy. He really does. Absolutely does. Give him a good kicking. All right. Sean, I've read Sean's one. Roy Brownlow lives in a mansion, 5-bedroom taxes costing me a fortune. We'll move out then. Give it to someone who needs it then. What are you doing with 5 bedrooms, for Christ's sake? Adrian Richardson, you only pay capital gains tax on the profits with me. So that's right. I beg your pardon. You're quite right, Adrian. Yes. So if the house was, if you bought it for 100, say you bought it for £10 and it's now worth £20, no, that would make it confusing. If you bought the house for £10 and it's now worth £30, you would only pay tax on £20 of that, the profit part. I think certain things come out of it as well. You're quite right for correcting me there, Adrian. Yes, the profit. So the house goes up by 50,000. You pay the capital gains tax on that, on the profit, not on the whole cost. Yeah, you get that? So once again, you know, say you bought a house for £10, right? And then you sold that house for £30, you would pay capital tax on the £20 profit, not the whole £30 that you sold it for. Quite right, Adrian. Thank you for correcting me there. Mick says he's financially comfortable. Yeah, but look at the years that you've spent getting to that point. Saving your money and all that. Bills get paid, don't drink, don't smoke, go on holiday 2 to 3 times a year, and we have a little nest egg in our safe. Oh, I didn't know you had a safe. I'll be straight round there, mate, with a little toothpick, try to pick the lock. Get your cash out of there, mate. I don't keep cash in the house at all, ever. No, I never keep cash in the house. It's all tied up in the bank, mine. Let's have a look down there. What else of interest can we find? Marc's hopeless with money. Yeah, some people just can't do it, can they? I don't know why. I don't know why that is. From a very early age, my father, I watched how my father was with his money, and he taught me to save. And I used to get 10 pence a week pocket money. And I used to buy those national insurance savings stamps. I'm sure one or two of you used to buy those. You'd buy these stamps and put them in a book. I'll have some queue up at the post office. Can I have a savings stamp? Please? And give you 10p and put it in the book. And this book held, it was £1 a page, and you couldn't cash it in. You had to cash in at least £1 at a time. So you couldn't save 70 pence and can I have that 70 pence? No, had to be £1. And then when you filled the whole book up, that would be £5. You see? And as a child, I used to do that, and I would save up for things. I remember buying this chocolate machine from the toy shop. This is in Roehampton, where we used to live. Little chocolate machine. And it was like this orange thing, like that. It was only small, like that. And you load it with, you know, the little Cadbury's chocolates that you get in Roses? The little square ones, little tiny little things like this. And you could load this thing with 10 chocolates, right? And in the front was a little slot, and you'd put 2p in, and a chocolate would come out. And I had this idea of buying this thing and then loading it with chocolates and selling them to all my friends or installing it outside our flat. Of course, it didn't really work like that. It didn't happen. I just put it and started eating the chocolates. And then when the 2p filled up, I'd take it out and buy some more. Chocolate machine. And I bought that with, I think it cost me £1, this chocolate machine. It was only a plastic thing from the toy shop. Happy days. Happy days. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, I like to think I've got a good head, but that's because of the way my father taught me. You know, with money and all that sort of thing. Roy Brownlow, my lotto win from 2016 is going down on the last million. Did you win the lottery? How much? My nan won the Daily Mirror bingo. Yes, she did. £145,000. I'll never forget that. I got the newspaper cutting somewhere. My nan. That was in the 80s. And it was the Daily Mirror bingo. Daily Mirror bingo. She won 145 grand, and they came round. Daily Mirror. I think a car came and picked us up, and took us to the Cafe Royale for dinner, and the bloke who did 3-2-1 turned up. What's his name now? Can't remember. Anyway, we knew who he was, but he came in, you know, like this. Like star that the Daily Mirror had arranged, you know, for the photographs and all that. And my nan said, "Who's he?" She didn't know who it was. What was his name now? He was all right, he was. Ted? Was it Ted someone? Someone tell me who he was. I can't remember. The Daily Mirror bingo she won there. Did you actually win the lottery? Did you? Nothing is richer than family, says Marc Bowles. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. My sister is far richer than me with all her wonderful children. Far, far richer than me. I'll tell you that now. You're absolutely right with that. Good evening to Sam Thomas joining us today. Sam's a landlord as well. Sam's got, I think, one property. Sam has got one there. Roy run the pools years ago. Yeah, my dad used to do the pools. Oh, he'd sit there every Saturday marking off these numbers as they came in on the grandstand teleprinter. Do you remember that? The grandstand teleprinter. This thing would come up at the bottom of the screen, wouldn't it? Like, you know, and they'd be talking over it, and then the scores would come on with Frank Boff. You know, Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1, West Bromwich Albion 6, Luton City 1. And it was all like that, weren't it? And remember the teleprompter at the bottom? It was basically looked like a typewriter. And they'd zoom in the camera on this thing and as the scores came in from all over the place. The pools, yeah, I remember that. People used to do the pools. Yes. Michael, we actually had, my dad was bankrupt. Oh, okay. And we had people come in and take much everything. I was only a youngster at the time, 3 or 4. What a frightening experience that must be for bailiffs to come in and take stuff. That must be just awful when they come and do that, mustn't it? But it happens. It does happen. Mark's unlucky. If my mum had triplets, I'd be the one in the middle. I'd like to be in the middle of you. It doesn't matter, sorry. Roy needs 4 bedrooms for all his wives. Wow. Sam, he's got 6 houses, renting them all with 4, trying to sell one of the houses due to a drugs problem. Yeah, Sam, I remember Sam telling us that. If you're a regular viewer to the show, you'll know that Sam had a problem with one of his properties and he had some drugs people move in there. And I think I remember him telling me that they damaged one of the rooms, putting in all this drugs, you know, growing stuff and pipes and things like that everywhere. We've seen it on the news before. Dreadful. The damage caused to the house. Not only that, and they seem to use a lot of electricity with lights and things like that, don't they? Which I've seen, like, you know, overloaded sockets and things. So dangerous that is. Overloaded sockets. You need to use proper extension leads. Up at the caravan, I have very, very few sockets actually on the wall, and I've got one of these plugs which you just buy in B&Q, perfectly safe, and you plug that in and it gives you like 8 sockets, you know, on a wire, on a cable. That's good. You mustn't overload them with those endless plugs in the little socket thing type. You know what I mean? Michael bought a house for £10. This isn't Monopoly. I'm good at. You wouldn't win at me at Monopoly. I'm very good at that. I lull you into a false sense of security. A little bit like watching this show, to be honest. Heidi's going to send a picture of the new boyfriend. Excellent, Heidi. Where is it then, dear? Come on, send it over. You got the email address. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. David, you've got 7 years to reinvest the proceeds. What do you mean, David? Not sure what you mean there. Explain further and we'll come back to that, okay? Little dairy milk bars, Chris. That's the ones. That's the one. Little dairy milk bars. Little ones like that they are. You know, you had the whole box, of course. You know, I always found them very annoying. Yeah, because you can't just have one, can you, Rachel? You open this box, and the trouble is you have to keep removing the blooming wrappers. Very annoying. There's that certain sweets like that as well. What are the sweets like that? You know, where they each one is wrapped, but it's wrapped so well it's difficult to get off. I can't remember what sweets they are. Oh, there we are. Millen. Oh, he's quite nice. Oh, Heidi. Where'd you get him from then, dear? Millen. He's 35, runs a decorating company. Well, he can come and paint the insides of my... he can come and paint my walls anytime. Very nice. Looks better than Marc Bowles. I'm sorry, Marc. Oh, isn't he nice? Oh, I say. How comes you get 'em and I don't, Heidi? He must be half your age, you dirty cow. Honestly. Aren't you 50-something, Heidi? Gosh, she's got a toy boy. How'd you get her? How'd you get him, rather? Very nice. He looks... Is he a bit Italian or Spanish or Portuguese? There's a slight look of foreignism about him, which is quite nice. He's got dark light. I'm sorry, Boz. He goes, I can't possibly show you. I can't possibly show you. I wouldn't be allowed to show you a photograph of Heidi. It's for my private eyes only. But let me tell you, I'm not lying here. 10 out of 10. Absolutely, Heidi. Well done, darling. How did you get hold of him, dear? You must have been offering him something very, very special that I don't know about, Heidi. Do tell all. Do tell all, dear. Mick won £1,400 and 50 quid and £800 on the lottery. That's not bad win, is it, Mick? Not bad. The most I ever won was 50 quid at the Granada Bingo in Clapham Junction years ago. Oh, I screamed the place down. House! House! My nan was a big bingo player. She loved bingo. Oh, my nan. She'd be playing 12 books. I kid you not. 12 books. 5 and 1, 51. 6 and 2, 62. Yeah, because of course it's 6 books. I think you get them in 6 books. So if you've got 12 books, the number's going to come up in 2 places. If you've got 6 books, the number that is called will always come up somewhere in that 6 books. She loved it. Used to go to bingo in Lewisham. And I can't remember the name of the bingo place. I don't remember. So this would have been 1968, 1969. We used to go around Nan's house and there'd be a bus go to Lewisham, and this bus would take us to the place. And there was a sharp corner on the way there between Peckenham and Lewisham. And my nan used to say, if it was a good bus driver, he wouldn't go over the curb. So we'd watch this corner coming up. And is it going to go over this corner or not? And more often than not, he did. They just couldn't get round this corner, most of these buses. And we went in this. It was a big bingo hall. I remember it. And the bingo caller was there. And halfway through, I can't remember his name now. It was a lovely man, big bloke. And halfway through the bingo, they'd call all the children up and give us sixpence. Yeah, they call all the halfway through the night. If all the children would like to come up now, we used to go up on our own, and he'd give us all sixpence for just coming. Fabulous. It was quite unusual because, of course, in the 1960s, there was a lot of racism going on, and our bingo caller was a black bloke. And that in those days, that was very unusual to see someone in perhaps such a position of authority. Now, of course, everything is much better, but it's still not quite right yet, you know. But in those days, there was a lot of racism. So to see a black man doing a bingo, I think they prefer to be called men of colour now, doing the bingo was very unusual in those days. And it was quite groundbreaking, I suppose. But he was a lovely bloke, and he loved the children, and we used to go up and collect our sixpence. Yes, bingo. Bingo with Nanny Hayes. She was fab. Nanny Hayes. I remember I've got a picture of her somewhere here. I don't know where it is now. Oh, there it is. Nanny Hayes. I think I've shown you this before, haven't I? There you go. Look, Nanny Hayes. Hang on a minute. Let me just give this a bit dusty. Nanny Hayes is in the middle there. That's my mum, who's of course gone now. There's Nanny Hayes in the middle there, and that's Auntie Brenda on the left there. She's still around, Auntie Brenda. She's the last of three. There were three. There was Auntie Brenda, my mum, and Uncle Michael. And Uncle Michael we lost a few years ago as well. Yeah, wow. Happy days, eh? Happy days. I've made Marc Bowles smile tonight. I think you were probably smiling until I mentioned the fact that this, what's his name? Millen is better looking than you. I'm sorry, Marc, he is, darling. Perhaps if you get a pair of dark glasses and look a bit more chavvy, you know, I think you could still swing me the other way. Not that way, you know what I mean. Let's scroll back up here and see what we got here. I'll try and read some more of your messages there, my darlings. Michael, oh, no, I can't remember who you were talking about there. Is that your parents there, Michael? Or is that your other half? I'm not sure. Successful now, but that time in our life he was bankrupt. Yes, this is to do with your when the bailiffs come around, wasn't it? He's successful now, but that time in our life, this must be your dad. He was bankrupt. He lost his business and was going around doing videos for rent, just to get some income. So, you know, but each and every one, we all do what we have to do to try and earn a decent living. Unless you're one of those dodgy people who go around nicking stuff. And I haven't got time for that. When you see people sometimes on the Facebook and they've nicked stuff and you make some sort of comment and someone else will come back to you saying, oh, they're only trying to feed their family. What, by taking the food out of other people's mouths? No, I'm sorry. No, bang them up. Bang them up. Marc... Marc's won a Spot the Difference before and got a £5 stropping voucher. That's a win. A win is a win, Marc. I wonder what you'll win tonight. Let's have a look. Artie, hello, Artie. Found a savings stamp once, went to the post office to cash it. The man there said you need a full page to cash it in. I asked him how much to fill a page. He said £1. Bought 18 shillings worth. I'm sure that's the thing, Artie. I'm sure that's the same thing I had. National savings stamps. We're going to close the phone lines now, boys and girls, all right? As we seem to run out of callers, so we're going to close the phone lines now, and they are now closed. Phone lines are now closed, right? Thank you very much, those of you that took the time to call in tonight. It was a pleasure to talk, absolute pleasure to talk to you on the phone, as it always is. Adrian, you talked to Simon there. Okay, Simon. Michael used to collect toy people. Little toy people. Oh, I don't know what they are. I did cars, little cars. You know, the little Matchbox cars. And I kept those for years and years in a box. They weren't particularly well kept. A big box of cars I had. And then when I had access to my son one day, I decided to give him all my cars. And I think I'd been saving them for that when I was seeing him when he was very little. Yeah, and I don't know if he kept them or not, but they weren't in, like, you know, pristine condition. They'd all been battered, you know, and used a lot as me, a little boy. And I just took the box round to his house one day, and hopefully he got some pleasure out of using them. Capital gains tax can be deferred for 7 years. Oh, can it? Oh, so you could sell something and then reinvest it, all of it, and not lose the capital gains tax? Do you know, I'm sure I spoke to my accountant about that once, and I asked him something like that. What if you sell something to buy something perhaps dearer? Do you then have to pay? I'm sure I'll re-ask him that and see what he comes back with. Opal fruits. Thank you very much, Roy Brownlow. They're the ones. Opal fruits. Blooming hard to open. And those other things, you know, the little pink chewy things. I can't remember what they're called now. Oh, they're a blooming nightmare. They're pink and yellow, if I remember rightly. What are they called? And you sit there, you have one, and this blooming wrapper just stick, especially if it's warm and they've got sticky, and you can't get the wrapper off them. How annoying are they? But yes, opal fruits is definitely one of those sweets that's difficult to unwrap. And some biscuits as well. Packets of biscuits. You know, you've got this packet of biscuits, you can't get into the blooming packet. Have to get a knife out and cut it. And sometimes you cut the top of one of the biscuits off. Most disappointing. I've got ginger biscuits at the moment in my cupboard. I'm actually better at eating biscuits now than I used to be. I can now take out 3 and maybe only go back once for another 2. I used to sit there and eat half the packet. Seriously. Which reminds me, I must check my Morrison's delivery, which comes on Thursday the 16th. I managed to get a Morrison's delivery slot last night. I couldn't believe it. I threw a little mini party in here just for myself. I got a Morrison's delivery in, what's the date today? Oh, it's 26. Do you know, we've lost March, haven't we? Don't you feel that March hasn't happened? Isn't it weird? It's weird, isn't it? 26, so 26, Thursday 26, Thursday the 2nd, Thursday the 9th, 3 weeks' time. Morrison's delivery. I'm not telling you what time. No, you'll be round here trying to nick the stuff out of the van when he brings it over. 120 quid I spent. I've never spent that in a day in one lot of shopping. Shocking. I must check that I've got biscuits on. I don't think I've got biscuits on there. I can add it. I can add to it. You can edit the basket right up to do a couple of days before. Good, isn't it? So if you've forgotten something or maybe you run out of something while you're on your way, because presumably they won't necessarily have everything that's in the basket anyway. I bet they get to the day and you don't get half the stuff. That happened to my mate, DJ Chris. Happy Chris. You know, the one who does all the up-to-date, the happy songs. Bless his heart. We love DJ Chris. I like him very much, actually. You know all these people that are at the karaoke and you hear me laying into them on the microphone. You do actually know that I like them, don't you? Most of them are aware of what's going on, like Toby. He's fully aware of what's going on, don't worry. Because after I've had a go at him on the stage, I usually go back down the back and have a chat. How are you, Toby? RT bought 18 shillings worth stuff. Oh, we've done that, haven't we? Cast a page. 18 shillings, gosh. I don't remember. I do remember shillings, actually. Shillings became 5 pence, didn't they, RT, if I remember rightly? Good evening to LaBelle joining us tonight. Hello to LaBelle. You haven't missed the show. We haven't finished yet, dear. I haven't finished yet, my love. Yeah, Rachel. I did very early on in his life, and then it just didn't work out, unfortunately, Rachel. And I just leave it at that, if you don't mind. Yeah, it didn't quite work out that. LaBelle there. We said hello to LaBelle. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michael. Fruit salads. They are the worst thing. Oh, there's motion at my front door. Just a moment. Let me just check if I'm being intruded upon. It's usually a ginger or black cat that walks past. Let me have a look there. Yep, nothing happening there. That's my front door, you see. Look at that. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? It always goes off. Although, if you're kind of out of mobile phone signal, or it's not a decent mobile phone signal, it can go off and you hear the doorbell go and you go to answer it and the video just doesn't come through. It's most annoying when that happens. That happened today because the bloke tried to deliver me asthma thing today when he said he was coming on Friday. But actually, I managed to get through to the chemist and they're going to put it back on the lorry for tomorrow. So it'll come tomorrow, apparently after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I won't go out for my walk tomorrow just in case he comes in. I've got plenty to do in the back garden anyway, Cut the grass and all that. I like doing my gardening. Fruit salad and blackjacks are the ones. They are a nightmare to open, those fruit salads. I like those chewy things, aren't they? Fruits. So when's the last time I had those? Oh, actually, usually up my nephews, the children will have something. They all have Haribros now. They're not the same, are they? I'm not keen on those Haribo sweets. Really not. You don't, the children, the great nieces and great nephews, they never have fruit salads. Or the blackjacks. Is that the licorice thing? It's a licorice thing, isn't it? Blackjacks. Yeah. Remember those? But fruit salads are like, you don't see children with those anymore. They've got those boring bags of Haribros covered in sugar. How much chocolate have you bought, Chris? And cheese and onion crisps? Thank you very much, Mick. None, so I'll make a note of that. Well done, Mick. Excellent. Biscuits. We've got to have something to make us happy. Don't worry too much about the weight. My weight seems to have stabilised at about 13.2 for some reason. And I have been having biscuits and a bit of ice cream here and there. So biscuits, what did you say there? Crisps and chocolate. Thanks very much. I shall be straight on that Morrison's thing tonight after I finish the show. Yes, please. Artie, don't forget to wash your hands. Do you know I wash my hands here as well, Artie? Actually, I do wash my hands even when I'm at home on my own. Yeah, every couple of hours. When I get up in the morning, just before I go to bed, I'll go downstairs and wash them after I finish this. Because you don't know, that thing might be living on something in here, unbeknown to us. You know, it could. A letter came through the door today, which I opened. You know, I opened the letter, read it, put it in the recycling and washed my hands straight away. But maybe that letter, maybe something dropped off the letter somewhere. You don't know. Got to keep washing those hands all the time. Refresher chews. Oh yes. Refreshers and love hearts. They were similar, weren't they? Love hearts. Where you got the message, I love you. I don't think I ever got that one, to be honest, unfortunately. But there we are. Heidi liked the blackjacks. No, it was licorice. I never liked licorice. Licorice all sorts. There's one. Licorice all sorts. Weren't they pretty? Licorice all sorts. Bassett's, that was it. Bassett's licorice all sorts. They were so pretty, weren't they? I'm going to put my script over here now. We've given up with that now. We're not going back to that now. That is exactly why you need to do the Slimming World online. We can't worry. In these times, you can't worry too much about that, I don't think. I really don't. Unless you're massively overweight and you want to do something about it. For your health, rather than looks, I don't care what people look like. Just think of your health, diabetes and all that. We don't want diabetes, but I can afford to not be so strict at the moment, I think. How many packets of Maltesers? Thank you very much, Maltesers. Thank you. Maltesers. Thank you very much for that, Adrian. I've put that on my list as well. This is your fault, ordering all this crap here. Keep up. Maddie's done the front and back garden today. Yeah, I mean, my little front garden is very small. I can mow that in 5 minutes. Yeah, it'll be no one around outside. I'll be perfectly all right with a mower. Just out the front, you know, near my door. Funnily enough, I also do the communal bit, usually. You know, because the people don't come round enough to do those. So I kind of took it upon myself to look after that sort of area there. And doing my mowing there, you know. All right, gang. I think we're going to wrap up the show here this evening. As I say, thanks ever so much for chatting away on the phone to me, those of you that called in. Been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for Heidi sending a picture of her boyfriend, which I may print out and put next to me on the pillow tonight. He's very good looking, boys and girls. He's really good looking. Pancake mix. Pancake mix. No, Pancake Day is... See, I'm a bit old-fashioned like that, Mick. I like to have... When we were children, we had Pancake Day. And you only had pancakes on Shrove Tuesday. That's the only time you ever had pancakes, isn't it? It really is. You had Easter eggs on Easter Sunday. We would never have an Easter egg before Easter. And that goes for cream eggs as well. You would not have Easter eggs before Easter. And Easter Sunday would come. Oh, my God, you felt sick as a dog. You were so sick, you'd eaten too much, so many eggs on Easter Sunday. Christmas presents are for Christmas Day. They're not just before Christmas because I thought it would be nice to give it to them now. No, they are for Christmas Day. So I'm a bit funny with that. Hot cross buns are for Good Friday. That's it. Not the middle of January or the end of April. They are for Easter. They are for Good Friday, maybe Saturday as well. And Easter Sunday, then the eggs come out. But so many people, they just don't seem to want to stick to that now. They want to have it whenever they want to have it. And I think you miss something by doing that. I really do. Because I'm looking forward to hot cross buns on Good Friday, which is soon, Friday the 10th of April. And of course, there's probably one day in the year that I really want to be in church. I'll be honest with you. And that is Good Friday. And we're not going to be able to do it. Out of all the days, not Christmas, not Easter, the one day I find the most moving service is Good Friday in the church. And we're not going to be able to do it this year. It'll be the first time for years that I haven't been in church on Good Friday. Can't believe it. We can't go. Terrible. Terrible. Anyway, that's just how it is. Thank you very much. Tickets. Yes, let's do tickets. Malteser hot chocolate. No, I'm not a fan of hot chocolate. There's only one hot chocolate I've ever liked. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got a problem. Got a problem with the picture. We might have a freezing picture. Hang on, let me do something. Yes, we are. And you can probably still hear me, but the picture is getting stuck. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me close the programme and I'll reopen it, okay? And we should be okay then. So hang around there for a warning. What's it say? The streams is lower than recommended. I don't know what's going wrong there. We're getting a buffering, are we? Can you still hear me all right? Can you still hear me all right there? I think you can probably still hear me. So we can do the raffle tickets. Okay. If you've already asked for a raffle ticket, please ask now because I'm going to start. I'll just type something there, okay? Start there. 1 minute. Ask for tickets. Oh, you can still hear me. Excellent. Okay, so I want you to ask for your raffle tickets now. If you've already asked, ask again, and I'll keep out an eye there. It looks like it's all right to me, actually, now. I think we've settled down there now. That looks okay now. Yes, green light on. Right, excellent. Okay, so please ask for your raffle tickets now. If you've already asked, ask again. I'll start with Colin Coates. Thank you very much. Ticket number 198 for you, Colin. That was nothing to do with me, I don't think. Just happens sometimes, all right? But we're back now. Good. Colin Coates, Mandy Davenport, 199. 200 goes to Michael Harneman. Oh, Michael Harneman. Thank you, Michael. 200 for you. 201, the lovely Mark Bowles. Sean Pye, 202. Lee Toby, 203. Lee Toby, 203. Fran Green, 204. Gary Butler, 205. Bruv. I'm your blooming uncle. Bruv. 206 for Diane Jebb. Colin Kay, 207. 208 for Michael Lawrence. Mick Davenport, 209. 210 for LaBelle. Just got to get some more tickets out, sweethearts. LaBelle 2, yes, 210, 211. Who's after LaBelle? 211. Roy Brownlow, 211. Trevor Campbell, 212. Hello, Trevor. Sitting there quietly on the side. Trevor Campbell, 212. Was it you got the who got the T-shirt this week? I sent out a T-shirt this week, didn't I? Who was that? Who sent out the T-shirt this week? Was it you, Trevor? Someone bought someone a T-shirt, didn't they? Am I wrong there, or was it something else? Do you know, I can't remember now. So much stuff going out. Jason Hughes, 213 for Jason Hughes. Thank you, Jason. Jason Hughes, 213. Trevor, we've done Trevor. You've done Trevor. Adrian Richardson, 214. 215, Tony King. 216 for Heidi. Is that everyone? Anyone else I missed out? Please speak now. If I've missed you out, please speak now. Or if you don't quite make it before we shut the show down, email me for your raffle ticket and I'll do it like that, my darlings. All right, let's just whack off Jason's number to him as he emailed there. What's he got there? It's 213. 213 for Jason. That's it. Lovely. Excellent. Once again, boys and girls, if I can remind you, if you ever on with the live show, please ask for your raffle ticket by email. You do another method, it can get lost. All right? It's only for your benefit. I'd hate you to miss out if you did there. And I think that's it. So Heidi was the last one. That looks like it. We've completed raffle tickets, going outy type things. Thank you much for joining us for the show tonight, gang. Nice to chat to you. We didn't go quite down my list of things. In fact, we only got to the first subject. But it doesn't matter. We've had a little bit of a scream and a laugh, haven't we? I'll see you back again here tomorrow morning, somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock, boys and girls. Thank you very much to Sean Pye. Oh, I think you just about hear that super chat noise coming over there. Thank you, Sean, for the £2. Very kind. Trevor, it was over a week ago, that T-shirt. I can't remember when it was, dear. I can't remember where it was. I'm going to have my dinner now. I've got to eat some potatoes. And they've got little roots growing out of them at the moment. I assume they're still all right to it. They've been in the cupboard a little bit too long. They've got little roots growing out of them. So I should have to break those off and eat them. Have a lovely day, boys and girls. Or have a lovely evening, rather. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Good night now.